guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kinelo and I am from South Africa, but I go by the name of Kenny because I work and live here in China. So I thought it was gonna be so much easier for them to just call me as Kenny. All right, so today I am going to tell you a story, a mind-blowing story about how I came to work as a teacher in China. I'd like to remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to also like this video. And also I want to encourage you to watch this video all the way through because I have a fun fact that I'm going to tell you about myself regarding the story. All right, so this is where the story begins. The story begins in 2016. That's where the China story begins for me. But can you actually believe that I eventually came to China late 2018? So the story begins in late 2016 and I eventually came to China in late 2018. Alrighty, so now in 2016, I do not recall really how I heard about coming to China to work as an English teacher, but I do remember that I knew something about that and I was really interested. So I started researching on the internet. I was like, I need to know what is this all about, and I started sending out my CV. I do not even recall how many CVs I sent to different companies, but I know for sure one person came back to me and they said in the email, can you please download WeChat? So now if you don't know what WeChat is like WhatsApp back at home in South Africa, but WeChat is a little bit more advanced. Like you can book your hotels there, you can book your flights there, you can order your food, you can order anything and everything that you want. It's a little more advanced, and you can receive cash from other people, you can send money to other people. So that is what WeChat is. So she said I should download such an app so we can have an interview there. We had an interview, and after that she said to me, oh sorry Kenny, you are not the candidate that we took for this position. And I said, okay, can you tell me what is it that I need to improve, what is it that I need to do, right? And she said, you need to have your degree, you need to have your TEFL certificate, as in TEFL, and then you also need to have some teaching experience. And I said, oh, okay, thank you so much for letting me know. Now you might wonder, oh my gosh, Kenny, what were you doing applying for a job without a degree, right? I had finished studying for my degree, but it had not yet been conferred to me. So I thought, let me just try my luck, you know, who knows? Fine. Then I was like, oh, okay, fine. Thank you so much for letting me know. And then I said to myself, that was in 2016. So I said to myself, next year, 2017, I need to work on these things. Obviously, I would have gotten my degree. Then I need to work on getting my TEFL certificate. And also as a bonus, I can also get my driver's license, right? I was like, fine, great plan. 2017 comes and now I'm a postgraduate student. I am studying for my honors degree, and I would say I really wasn't thinking even about coming to China and stuff. I had forgotten about it. And because like if you're staying in postgraduate residence, you're staying with one other person, you share a bathroom and a kitchen with. I was staying with my dear friend, and one day she came up to me and she had a card with her, and she was like, oh my gosh, look at this, there were some Chinese people on campus, they were telling us about teaching English in China. And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought to myself, is this not a sign? Is this not a sign that I should go to China? So I took the card, I started researching on it. I was like, okay, what is this company about? What does it give? What are the benefits? What is it that it's giving to their employees? So I just started researching about the company. Okay, fine. And I was like, oh wow, this is actually an interesting company, but I didn't even make any follow-ups on that. I guess it was just at the back of my mind, like, oh, this is just an option. If I cannot get a job here in South Africa, I can always go to China and teach English, right? Fine. 2017 ends and I did not have any interview whatsoever. I did not do my TEFL certificate, nothing. And then 2018 comes, I think January or February, I do not really recall which month it was. But I had two people that I studied my undergraduate degree with. They were coming to China, and one of those girls I went to the same church with. So I said to myself, I'm gonna ask her questions. How did she go about it? What is it that is needed? How much money did she, like, I was just gonna ask her any question that was gonna help me to getting here in China. So I did reach out to her, and she was super friendly. She was so helpful. She told me everything, literally. We had video calls where she was explaining to me how is it like living in China, and she was also telling me how I can alternatively get my TOEFL certificate without paying a lot of money, which was via buying a coupon. So I then applied. I actually bought the coupon, now started studying for my TOEFL certificate, finished my TOEFL. I was so determined. I was like, I need to finish this very quickly. I need to go to China. Like, I was just like, I need to do this. And then while I was talking to that girl who was already here, the church friend, she told me that I need to apply for my police clearance earlier, because it takes some time to come out and stuff like that. So I was like, I need to also apply for this. So once I finished my TOEFL certificate and they gave me the digital certificate, I went to apply for my police clearance. I was just getting ready for everything, and then that's when I started doing my interviews, actually just starting researching and searching what companies I can go to, what kind of companies, like, do I want to work at a public school, do I want to work at a private school, do I want to work for a training institution. So I started doing a little bit more of a research, so I get to know what is it that I'm getting myself into. Okay, so now I needed to do an introductory video. It was super weird, guys. So an introductory video, if you don't know, it's just basically a video telling your potential employers who you are, what are your interests, what are your qualifications, and if you have any experience, telling them about what you've worked and how are you doing it, basically. So I had to do this introductory video. It was super weird, guys. Yo, it was super weird. I will try and insert it here. I don't even remember if I have it, but it was so weird. I had to do that introductory video, and it took me so many takes to actually get it right and be like, you know what, I'm sending this one. Other than that, I just had to like send my CVs to different companies, and you know, most of them, I don't want to lie, they didn't even get back to me. Not even an email acknowledging that they have received my application, nothing of that sort. So one company, I think, actually got back to me, but it wasn't the type of education industry I wanted to get myself into, and they did also offer me a contract, but also because it wasn't the type of education industry I wanted to get myself into, and the salary wasn't as good, I had to just let it go, you know. And then during that time when I was looking for a job, there was actually one guy who is from South Africa and who had been living in China then for almost 10 years, and he shared some of their contacts with me, some agencies' contacts, and he said, you know what, let me know what they say. And then because almost everyone did not get back to me, I guess I forgot to even let him know, oh, I didn't even get a contract, or whatever the case is. So he later reached out to me and he was like, hey Kenny, how did the interviews go? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't get back to you, but I basically do not have any contract. I've done the interviews, I've sent my CVs, but most of them didn't even get back to me. And he was like, okay, perfect. Right now in my company, we need a teacher. So I'm going to share your contact with my boss, and my boss will send a request to you. You just have to accept, and you guys will set up everything. And then the boss does send the request to me. I accept, and then we start talking. He's like, okay, now can you tell me about the type of job you want, or what are you looking for in China? And then I start telling him, because they also have this kind of questions like, why do you want to come and teach in China? And you know, I had done my research, you know, I was just on top of my game. So I start telling him, oh, this is what I want, and that, and he's like, you know what, I think you are the best candidate for this job. That was like mind-blowing for me. I just could not believe it. After so many interviews, after so many people that didn't get back to me, I didn't even, like, he didn't even ask me a lot of questions, you know. He just asked me about what is it that I wanted in China, blah 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 blah. And I was just telling him my expectations, and he said, you know what, I think you're the right candidate for this job. You know what, I'm gonna try and send you the contract just before I sleep. And I was like, what? I could not believe it, guys. I could not believe it. And then he does send the contract. True to his word, he sends the contract to me. I tell my professor. Then I was working as a junior lecturer, and obviously I was working very closely with my dear professor. And I was obviously telling her, oh, I have an interview, da da da. So finally I get a contract, and I tell her, I'm like, Prof, I've got a contract now. And then we print it out, we start taking the highlighters, reading through the contract, and I was like, you know what, I think this is the job I'm going to leave for. I was so happy, I could not believe it. Anyway, fast forward, I start prepping my documents for coming to China. I do my medical examinations, I do everything like authenticating my documents, notarizing my documents, everything that I needed to do as far as coming to China is involved, or just going overseas. And then finally the day comes. Now I'm going to tell you one of the things that even up to today I'm thinking about, and I'm like, what? That is just mind-blowing for me. Like, it was just mind-blowing for me. I do not believe I did just that. If you've traveled overseas, or if you just know, you know that if you're going to, I would say, come to China, because that's the only place I traveled to. One fun fact about me that I promised I will share with you is that I had never in my life traveled anywhere in South Africa alone, and let alone traveling anywhere in South Africa. I had barely traveled in South Africa. The only traveling I did was when I was visiting my mom, and it was probably just for like 2 times. I don't even remember, but I barely traveled in South Africa. Now, oh my gosh, I was coming all the way to China alone. So now the mind-blowing thing that I'm also gonna share regarding the story is that my entry visa, so the visa that allows me to enter the country, and then my company will then apply for a work visa once I'm here. I applied for that visa a day before I flew to China. So I just want to tell you a story about that visa story. So I went to the visa embassy, Chinese embassy, and then I got there, and that man who was interviewing me, I would say, or who was helping me, he's like, okay, so now when are you flying to China? And I'm like, tomorrow. And he goes like, what? I'm like, yes, I'm flying tomorrow. And he's like, have you booked a ticket? And I'm like, no. And I think he was just thinking, oh my gosh, what's happening here? But I needed to apply for my visa first before before I booked my flight, I guess. Anyway, bottom line is I had not booked my flight ticket. So then I applied for my visa, and he was just like, oh, okay, come tomorrow and collect at 11 a.m. I was like, okay, fine. It didn't even take long, guys. I thought it was gonna take like hours and hours. I think I was done in less than 15 minutes. I was done at that embassy. And then I was just now waiting to come and collect the following day. But the thing is, I had not even finished packing my things up back at remember I was staying at a postgraduate residence. I had not even finished packing my stuff up. Had I told my family then? I must have told, I don't really remember, but I know I told them either a day before or 2 days before that I was gonna come and work in China. So yes, I did go back home, get everything prepped up, and then I was with my dear professor. The following day we booked a door-to-door transportation, which literally took us to the embassy to go and collect my visa, and then we shot straight to the airport. Now at the airport, guys, I was like, wow, I have never been seen an airport before. I have never been in an airplane before. I had never flown in my life, so I had never seen all of those things. I was super scared, I was so anxious. I was very excited about like my new chapter in my life. I was just like, wow, it's all happening now. And to be honest, everything happened so suddenly, because I think I started up like applying for the teaching English in China jobs in maybe October or September, late September. And yeah, I think in October, on the 8th of October, I got a contract which I was really satisfied with. And then everything then started going up and down. Like I just started going up and down, prepping for coming to China. And yeah, so I went to the airport with my professor, and we got there, and I didn't even know like the check-in, like I had to check in, I had to go via customs and stuff. I did not know any of those. And obviously Prof had flown several times. We went to the check-in place. She told that lady, can you please check in her bags all the way to her final destination? She has never flown before. And that lady was, yeah, sure, no worries. She was so friendly. She was like, yeah, sure, no worries, I'll do just that. And she did just that. Then I had to go inside guys. Yeah, sure, no worries, I'll do just that. And she did just that. Then I had to go inside guys. Then there was no professor. I was just all by myself. But you know what Prof said to me? Girl, when you get in there, find someone who looks like they work here. Tell them you are going to be flying for the first time, you don't know what to do, where to go. They're going to help you. They're going to put you in queues that are not very long. I did just that. I followed my professor's advice. I went to that guy. I was like, hello. And he's like, hello. And I'm like, my name is Genelwe, and I'm going to fly for the first time alone, and I have never flown in my life before, so can you please show me where I should go? And then he's like, oh, okay, follow me. And then he goes like that, and I'm just right behind him. I was so tiny, guys. I'm gonna try and see if I can find pictures of myself when I was flying on that day. And then I'm just behind him, like going. And then we get there, and he's like, okay, so this is what you need to do. You need to put your laptop, because I had a laptop bag with me and a carry-on bag. And then he's like, okay, this is what you need to do. And I'm like, okay, sure, thanks. And then he leaves me there, and it was quite easy for me to go on from there, because he had also told me what I should do from there on. And then, guys, I do just that. And then one thing that I also want to say is that I think when we were already in Johannesburg, Prof did say to me, you need to make sure your pads are in your carry-on bag. And I did not understand. I said, my pads? I'm not on my periods, Prof. And she's like, yeah, I know you're not, but just make sure your pads are in your carry-on bag. You might have your periods. And I just didn't understand it, but I was just like, oh, okay, you know best, you've flown before, so let me just do whatever that you're saying. Put my pads in my bag. Guys, I think at the airport's bathroom, I badly needed to go to the bathroom just before boarding. I went to the bathroom, and there they were. My periods were there. I got my periods, guys. I was so anxious. I was so excited. My emotions were just all over the place. I even got my periods. So I was so thankful that I actually had my pads with me and in my carry-on bag, because my bags were checked in until my final destination. So it was such a great thing that I had my pads on my carry-on bag. Anyway, so I get to the place, I wait for the flight, so we can be called literally to board in. Finally, now I'm in the plane. Finally, I'm in the plane now. I'm like, okay, this is my seat. I need to sit here. I find my seat. I sit down. I put my carry-on bag up there. Then I sit down. And then later on comes like an Asian girl. She sits next to me, but she was definitely not Chinese, because I got to speak to her later on. She sits next to me. She looks like, you can see people who have been flying before. You can see them, they're very much relaxed, they know. Guys, my problem also was the belt. Oh my gosh. And then she had to help me. She was super friendly, but she didn't speak much, to be honest. She had to help me with my belt. I didn't know how to even, guys, when I'm telling you, it was my first time flying all the way from South Africa to China all by myself. Guys, I did not know a lot of things. I had to ask like people to help me on a lot of different instances. But anyway, I am here now. So I did then ask that girl to help me with the belt. Fine. And then the flight delays, guys. In my heart and mind, I'm like, I should be going now. I should be up there in the sky, and I'm not. I think there was someone who was sick in the flight. I don't know what was happening, what was the delay for, but I think they did say something, but I couldn't even hear it properly. I just felt like everything, I don't know what was happening, guys. I was just on my way here. I just wanted to see myself here. Anyway, so the flight delays, but eventually it takes off. When it takes off, guys, everybody is just very chilled. Like the Asian girl who's sitting next to me, she even has a novel with her. She's like reading. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, guys, this is literally my last day. I'm gonna die. I'm feeling like my insides are just dropping when the flight just goes like, yo, guys. And then finally we are up there in the sky, and it was okay, and I could sleep, I could eat, I was okay. So finally I get here in China, and I get picked up by the driver that was sent to come and pick me up, and he has something written, like a board written my name on it and the company's name. And then I get to him, he helps me with the bag, he puts in the car. Now the thing is, when I was leaving South Africa, it was obviously hot, right? The seasons are quite different. It was very hot, and Prof just said to me, just have something that you can put on top, you know, nothing heavy. And then I did just that. But when I got here in China, it was winter, because I got here on the 1st of December. My word, it was freezing cold. Like, it was so cold, I could not believe it. That time I have very light clothes, like, you know how winter in South Africa was like it wasn't really cold to an extent that it would probably snow. It was just like, okay, yeah, it's cold, it's okay, oh my gosh, it's cold, but it wasn't like, oh, flipping weird, it's really cold. So it was just like, I took a very light coat, and then I got here, and then that girl from the company, she's like, oh, Kenny, you're going to get cold, do you have a bigger jacket with you? And I'm like, yeah. And then I show her what's in my bag. She's like, you are going to get cold. And she's like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to bring you a jacket. She was super friendly, guys. She's like, I'm gonna bring you a jacket tomorrow, guys. And then she does bring me a jacket. I still have it even up to now, after 3 years, almost 3 years. I still have it, and it still fits me. And she brought me the jacket. It was super warm. I think that's all I wore in the first month or so. So yes, that is my story of how I came to teach here in China, guys. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yes, guys, that is just my story of how I went to teach overseas. If you have any story about, like, a peculiar story, if you think it's peculiar, or if there's just something mind-blowing about your story of how you got a certain job either overseas or in your home country, please make sure you leave a comment down below. I cannot wait to read your comment. So now, in the next video, I'm going to do a story time again, and I'm going to tell you guys about the top 5 most culture shocks I had or experienced here in China. I cannot wait to see you in the next one. In the meantime, I have to love and leave you. Take care. Bye bye.